Hey, Jordan.
How you doing?
Man, it's good to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
Well, look, I appreciate it. I'm here with Jordon Smith. Jordon lives just outside of Nashville, Tennessee, and he is in the multifamily business. That's your only gig, right?
Yes, sir.
No other gig going on. So tell us a little bit about how you got started in multifamily. How long ago?
Got started in multifamily about 18 months ago. Yeah, right about 18, 19 months ago.
So how'd you get started in real estate? Let's go a little farther back.
Okay, we can do that.
All right.
So about 9.5 years ago, I was working a 9 to 5, except it was 6 to 6 kind of gig, and I just saw a ceiling that I had hit. Excuse me. I saw a ceiling that I had hit. The harder I worked, it didn't correlate with the more money I would make.
Right.
And I decided at that time that it was time to move on to something else. Went through a couple real estate conferences, moved into my first foreclosure that I bought, and worked on that as a rehab.
So you moved into a foreclosure.
Yes, sir.
Was it really nice inside?
It was so nice. There was this super thick orange peel paint. It was orange in the kitchen. The bathroom wasn't too bad, but it was actually, as foreclosures go, not that terrible, but
Right.
It needed a lot of work. So I lived in there, had a mattress on the floor, would wake up in the morning.
Live by yourself, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
all by myself. Wake up in the morning and
Because no
get to work.
spouse, no wife would deal with this. Yeah,
There's
honey,
some,
we're not
I'm
doing
sure.
that.
Not
Yeah,
mine.
that's right. There's probably some.
So that was kind of the start of it, working my way up, and then I started acquiring more, doing some flips, keeping some as rentals, doing a few wholesale deals, and doing the standard progression through the single family or residential real estate investor.
And during this time, are you still working your 9 to 5 job, your 6 to 6 job?
No, what I did was take I think I had like 40,000 in my 401k and cash that puppy in.
Right.
And
Roll the dice.
let's get into real estate.
I'm gonna make it.
Let's go.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
make it. Right.
Yep.
It's
So
do
I
or die.
Didn't
at
have
that
a
point.
choice.
Right. It's do or die.
Yeah. So worked that for a while. Built up a small portfolio of single family and duplexes. And then what happened was here in Tennessee, I did a flip, or worked on a rehab. I had my partner buy me out, but worked on that for like 3 or 4 months. And
You're doing the work yourself?
yeah, we had
Wow,
some contractors
impressive.
do a little bit of a build out, but for the most part, doing the work myself. And then, it took a little bit longer because of windows and the whole supply shortage, all that. But
Yeah.
we got.
This was what year, you think?
We finished it at the end of 2021, beginning of 2022.
So you're in the middle of COVID supply interruption.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So our windows took forever, but we got them in, everything done, and I told my partner, I don't want to stay in. We'll have to file a partnership return, tax return, and everything. So just buy me out. We had a pre-agreed upon price that he would buy me out for, and did that. And I walked away after 3 or 4 months with $21,000. I'm like, now I got to just do that all over again if I'm going to keep this going. And
Keep hitting repeat on that, right?
yeah. So I looked at that and said, let me try something bigger. Let me see what else is out there. I've heard some things about multifamily. Had different contacts that were starting to buy some bigger things. It's kind of the natural progression from single family up to multifamily for some people if they want to kind of get that economies of scale and get into bigger projects. So started podcasts, books, YouTube, anything I could get my eyes on.
So self-education.
Started there, and then got tied in with a guy you might know by the name of Chad King. I saw him doing
Very familiar with Chad King.
Yeah, he did a 5-day challenge where he was going from 0 to LOI. So he did that, and I watched all 5 days of that. I think it cost like maybe $50 or $100.
You watched Chad King talk for 5 days?
5 days straight. Yep. No, it was.
I hope you can write fast.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely watched that a few times. They gave you the recordings and everything.
Yeah, you got to watch his stuff more than once for sure.
Yeah, and then from there, the progression with the education side of it was to Multifamily Live, which is a weekend conference that the Seven Figure people put on. And at that point, I decided I needed a community. I had done a lot of it myself throughout the previous 7-8 years.
So before you got into multifamily, what was your income from your rentals approximately?
Before or after taxes?
Gross. Gross.
Um, it was, let's see, not a huge amount. It was from the 9 rentals. Yeah, I don't even know. I'd have to look at my spreadsheets.
Right.
I don't have those numbers in the back of my head.
So where I'm going with this is you started with 40 grand basically, which you're how old are you?
38.
38. So there's probably a lot of 38-year-olds out there with 40 grand in a 401k or more, right?
Yeah.
Although 401k has been going backwards here lately. So to step out there and take that risk and say, all right, I got 40 grand. Yeah, I got a little bit of runway, a little bit. I mean, 40 grand is not a lot. So that's probably what, a year?
That was about a whole year from what I was making.
Right.
And it wasn't getting taxed anymore.
About a year worth of runway.
Yeah.
Where you could focus on what you're doing, but you had faith in yourself.
Yeah.
Did you have faith in yourself at that point, or?
I probably contribute that to my dad, who had faith in me, and I had faith in him. And it's like, well, with his support, without his support, I wouldn't have probably been able to do it. Probably wouldn't have made the jump. But I knew that I was handy.
Right.
I knew that I could do the work. Somewhat, with certain limitations at that time, couldn't do everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, built that up and built confidence. And once you get going, you do that first deal, and it's like, oh, that worked. Let me keep going.
That worked.
And it scales up from there. I never wanted to scale to the point where I had crews all over town and needing to have an acquisitions manager and transaction coordinator. That really, it was a vision at certain times, but it seemed like busyness to me, and I never wanted to be so busy that it took me away from the important things in my life: friends and family, spouse.
Because what we're chasing is freedom.
Right.
Right. We're chasing freedom. So then you found multifamily, and so tell me how that went from your first deal, and what was your function in the first deal?
Yeah, so got into multifamily. It was in single family, you can find a place in a couple days, flip it, and get your check in 3 months or something. But multifamily is a learning curve. You got a lot of relationships to build.
Yes, sir.
You have a lot of building and cultivating those relationships, a lot of knowledge to gain. It's a whole different monster from kind of working your way through a flip or doing a wholesale deal. You could accidentally do one of those. I have.
Yeah.
My insurance lady called me one time and said, I have this guy wanting to sell a house, and ended up doing a wholesale on that.
Really?
Yeah. Not to say that it's completely easy, but that was...
No, it's definitely not easy.
You're not getting that on the multifamily side, is my point.
They don't just fall in your lap like that.
So it took right about a year, and then got my first deal through joining a team. And they asked me to raise some capital for them.
Now, was the team inside the 7F organization?
Yes.
Already?
Yep. Yeah.
So you join the 7F, start paying the money, right?
Yep.
But now you're around all these guys and gals that can be your partners.
Yeah.
Right? And you got immediate credibility, I guess, by being in the organization and the opportunity to be around it. Maybe not credibility, because you don't know anything when you first go in there, but you get exposure to these people that are already doing it, have been doing it, and invariably you're going to bring something to the table.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think in the beginning it's a little bit of a feeling out process. Like, what is this guy about? Like, it comes back to my point of relationship building. Like,
Yeah.
multifamily is a long game.
Yeah.
You know, the average, I don't know what the average hold time is, but let's say 5 years. You're going to be business partners in that relationship with them for 5 years. So you got to know, like, and trust that person, and know that they're not going to do something shady throughout that 5-year hold period. I mean, I'm sure there's ways to break that off, but who wants to do all that and pay the money to the lawyers to get that done? So building relationships, and like I said, it took a year of constant reaching out to people, being active in the group.
So your function was fundraising in this first one, is that right?
Yeah, that's where it started, and then onto asset management as well.
Okay.
Yeah, managing the rehab capex of our project, and it's 134 units, so there's a lot to manage.
So so that brings us to Cardinal Village,
Yes.
right? So Cardinal Village is in Jacksonville, North Carolina. I'm an investor in that. I'm a limited partner, so I don't have any function in it other than throwing some money in there and knowing it's going to grow.
Okay.
But you are a general partner, which means, did you put any money in or no?
Yeah.
So you did put some money in, and so that's what a general partner is. They may or may not put money in, but they're going to have a working function during the project, during the hold time.
Yeah.
Right? And so what is your function in Cardinal Village?
Well,
What are you doing for me?
my main
You're
goal,
basically working for me, right?
My main goal is to make sure that your capital is preserved.
I like that.
That's the main goal.
The secondary goal is to grow that capital.
Right.
Our plan is to over double that money for you.
Right.
How we do that is by getting our income up, managing our expenses, and it started with a good plan that those guys had set forth. And basically what I'm doing is making that plan come to fruition via my work, but also the property manager.
So it was a value add project, right? So they found this apartment complex and they saw that every unit needed to be updated. But if they update it, they can raise the rent,
Yes.
right? And they can raise the rent such a way that they're going to make money off of that capex, meaning capital expenditure.
Mm-hmm.
So the $5 or $7 grand or whatever it is you're going to put into each unit to update it, that's going to bump the rent so much money. That grows the net operating income, which is how we get our value of the property. So you're in charge of the construction, I guess,
Yeah.
right? You're also in charge of the management company, correct?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, not. It's a little bit divided, a little bit split.
Okay.
In that I'm not as much over the day-to-day operations of the management side of it versus just the rehab side of it.
Okay.
So they have that split off a little bit right now.
Okay, I got you. All right, I didn't even know that you did that. That
Yeah.
you could split off the rehab. Well, it makes sense though.
Yeah.
It's two very different things and both very big jobs, so it does make sense. So, what's next going forward after Cardinal Village? Are you in on another deal?
Not at the moment. Don't have anything.
So
that I'm
Jordon
in
is available to
Yeah.
collaborate on
Yeah.
more deals. He's got time. He's really not gonna. Well, you're pretty busy with Cardinal Village. You got more time, right? for
Busy with
another deal?
that, but it sounded like there's some other opportunities coming up with
Sounds like that.
with the Ambitions Capital folks.
Right. Scotty and
so-
company are out there slinging it.
Yeah, looking forward to working with them some more, and at the same token, working with a team down in Huntsville, Alabama, working on acquisitions down there, and continuing to grow my network of potential investors.
Right.
Through we have a meetup that we run here in Nashville called Comma Creators Multifamily.
Yeah. Didn't you start that?
Yeah, me and my partner Michael.
Yeah.
We run that. It's once a month.
Comma Creators. That's pretty creative.
Yeah. So our goal is to grow your networks and your
Add a comma.
networks, and add
Add a
commas. Add commas to your net worth. So.
If you add a comma, that's 3 zeros, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you add a comma, that's pretty strong.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, look, Jordon, man, thanks so much for joining me on my podcast.
Thanks
This
for
is kind of an impromptu podcast we did here at our multifamily event. This is Seven Figure Multifamily. We're in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm the Tailgate Investor, and thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to being on your podcast, returning the favor.
Let's do it.
All
Might
right.
be down the road, but yeah, we'll get
All right.
there.
Me and Madison are headed to Broadway, right? Very soon. All right, Jordon. Have a great
guys.
night. We'll see you
Appreciate
at the event.